So Theresa May is weakened just when she should be focusing on preparations for Brexit negotiations with the EU. Those are due to begin in only 9 days' time. And speaking from Mexico, German Chancellor Angela Merkel has urged Theresa May to respect the calendar already set out by the invoking of Article 50.
When Great Britain is ready, we are ready to negotiate. It's not possible.
So how much is Mrs May at fault, and will party members back her or call for her to go? From Westminster, I'm joined now by Laura Perrins, co-editor of The Conservative Woman. And Laura, can Theresa May survive this, and if so, for how long?
I think it's going to be a very difficult fight for her now to survive this. I think the next 24 to 72 hours will prove absolutely crucial. If she can survive the first 72 hours then and get into negotiations and get into those Brexit negotiations, it may be that she has a chance. It will depend on how I think the papers are tomorrow morning, the Sunday papers, and also what happens early next week. But you know, she's obviously digging her heels in, and she wants to go forward with this coalition or this supply and confidence deal with the DUP. So I think it is the next 72 hours that will be crucial for her. And
if she does go, who do you think are the most likely to replace her?
Well, I think the most likely will be either Boris Johnson or David Davis, and of course Amber Rudd is in there too. So they, to me, will be the three main players.
And what do you think went so terribly wrong? Was it Theresa May's personality and her campaign, or her policies?
Well, I absolutely think it's probably a combination of both. I mean, you know, when you're looking back and you're carrying out a post-mortem on what exactly went wrong with this disastrous campaign, you know, everybody does have an agenda. So people on the left of the party will say, well, this is because they've moved too far to the right. People on the right of the party say, well, this is because of previous, you know, very liberal stances, or they haven't been tough enough on Brexit. So you always have to think about that, is what is the underlying agenda. I mean, to me, it looked like the campaign was going very well until she dropped that dementia tax bombshell in the manifesto. Now, I think there is some argument in principle for her actual proposal, in that we shouldn't burden very ordinary working class families with a huge tax bill to pay for the care of you know, perhaps very wealthy individuals, and indeed to protect their inheritance. So that is an argument that you could have, but it's an argument you have to have sort of a year or 6 months before you are going to propose such a drastic policy like that at the end of the day is going to hit your core voters. It is absolutely not something you can drop in the middle of a campaign, in the middle of a manifesto, without having tested it either within your party or indeed your core vote whatsoever. I mean, that will, to me, was the absolute killer. That's when things really started to go wrong. And then when she U-turned on it a few days later, well, then her whole strong and stable headline could no longer stand up.
And this DUP partnership, it's dangerous for her, isn't it? Because they are a controversial party with pretty traditional views.
Well, I mean, it is interesting to see how prejudiced people can be when what's called, you know, the God Squad are on the side. At the end of the day, the issues that seem to be causing an absolute media meltdown with the DUP are devolved issues to Northern Ireland, and I believe that that's where they should stay. But the much more serious issue with this potential coalition with the DUP is the peace process in Northern Ireland. You know, the British government have said that they will remain neutral, that they would always remain neutral between the two sides, and now obviously they're very compromised in relation to that stance, and there's a huge, you know, the power sharing has been suspended in Northern Ireland at the moment. So to me, peace is a lot more important than politics. So it puts her in a, you know, it puts her in a very difficult position.
OK, Laura Perrins, thanks very much for your time.